Opening the system for a new day. When you come in the morning, you should see the following splash screen. At this point, you should go to System, choose the third option down, which says Restart System for the day. Doing so will initiate a series of checks with our data warehouse, whether there are new versions or things to download. And it will go out into the internet, register itself. And now you will see the following screen. In this case, we only have 2 employees set up in this data file. So it'll ask who's clocking in. For this purpose, we're going to say it's David D. I'm going to enter David D's code. 1, 2, 3, 4. Press OK. And it's going to ask for the beginning bank. By default, depending on what you have set up in the system preferences, it'll assume the beginning bank you have there, in this case 100. If I had more, I would enter what's actually in the drawer. This is a good cross-check. Also, even though it's not active at this moment, you would enter your cases of soft serve, hard pack, and whatever other items we're going to start counting with that we'll track on a daily basis for purposes of yields and also for employee accountability. Okay, so in this case, we're just going to assume it's $100. We press continue. And this, I haven't registered the software, which most of you will have done your first day. And then this is the typical screen you will see. Welcome, demo test, and what version and what day you're on. Press continue. And you will be left at this screen. From the splash screen, you have several options. If you're an employee that's simply opening for the day, you would go to System, Cash Register screen. I only see this message because I'm in a higher access level than an employee. And I would be ready now to ring sales. In some cases, however, you'll be the manager. And the manager generally will do several functions. The first function would be to go to Manager and change their access level if they haven't already done it, which I have, and go into Reconcile Z-Tape. It'll default to the last business date. Right now I am on 8/9, so it's going to default to 8/8. I press continue, and it will call up the Reconcile screen. From here, I would look over my Z-Tape, and I would make sure that closing bank counts were right, and so the next beginning's okay. Credit cards matched. If there were any paid outs that were forgotten, I would put them in there. Any corrections, basically, to the cash accountability of the system would be put in here. Assuming that is correct, I would simply just make my corrections and now press Save. So once again, we find ourselves at the splash screen. One of the other daily functions that a manager may need to do is to go under Labor and go to Edit Employee Time Cards. This would be necessary to make any corrections to any time cards if an employee either clocked in too early, too late, didn't clock in at all. You would call this up, you would find the employee and their shift, you would double click on it, and then you would edit the time in, time out, and which would change the appropriate total hours. Notice that when you hit save and exit, if you've made a modification, it will flag the manager out or manager edited. Manager out basically refers to whether you forced them at the previous night's Z out. The @Z out refers to whether you have the setting to just force everyone to automatically be clocked out at Z out. And the edited feature basically means what I would have just done here if I had changed this, say, to 10 p.m. and nothing. You would see now that it's edited because I've changed what the actual employee's original time card said. It's regarding time entry into the system. In this screen, as well as scheduling and some other areas where a time is required, sometimes military or AM/PM is shown. However, regardless of what the system is displaying, the user can always enter in non-military time. For instance, if I wanted to change this person to 10 a.m. and then make this 2 p.m., the system understands it. It will convert it, but it understands it. Also, I don't have to put colons or I don't have to put colons. I could put 10, just for data entry, 0.30A, and it would understand that that's 10:30 a.m. Likewise, I could put 2:30 p.m. P, and it would understand and translate that to 14:30 in this screen. Procedures, also known as Zing out the register. Generally, after the last sale, you will be in this screen. The closer will come to System, exit the register screen, which will bring them out to the splash screen. From this point, you will then go under System again, choose Z out System for the day. It will ask for a confirmation. Depending on your system settings, it may also prohibit you from Zing out the system before 10 o'clock p.m. This can be changed in preferences, as will be covered under the advanced settings. Press OK if you're sure you wish to Z out the system. If you are in a manager access level, it will now give you the option to force clock out any employees that are still on the register. If you wish to do so, highlight the employee and then select clock out. For this example, we're going to assume that both the manager on register and David D are working doing other things such as cleaning up or other prep work. Okay, so we're not going to clock them out. So you press continue. At this point, an employee who would be the closer or the manager, if it was the manager on register, would put in their code. Let's put the manager on register's code. The drawer would pop, and now they will enter the closing cash on hand. Typically, the cash has already been counted out to a level till. However, this utility facilitates both. So if they had 350s, 220s, you know, how many ever rolled quarters, etc., they would enter it here, okay? And then they would level out the drawer, okay? So they would count up all their money. Let's say it was, you know, whatever, in this case, $200.50. Let's say they're going to leave $100 in the drawer. That would now leave $100.50 for the bank deposit. You could put any additional notes, and in future updates, you'll be able to put in your closing hard pack and soft serve amounts. But for now, let's just say closed at 10:15 p.m. or what have you. Okay? Continue. The system will then begin its procedures for closing out.